Good morning, afternoon, and evening to everybody watching this video now or in the future. We are back with another random tier list. Today we're going to be discussing gas stations, or as they say some places in the world, petrol stations, talking about the fuel you get for your car and where you get it from. Now, I believe most of these gas stations are from the United States. I'm not sure specifically if this is a certain part of the United States, but I am familiar with most of these gas stations, so we're going to go with this list. Now, I had to add a haven't been to tier because there are a couple of these I have not been to and I can't judge. And I also removed the D tier on this one because I feel like if any of these gas stations are below average, they just automatically should end up in F tier. So we're going to go ahead and see which ones end up there. Now, I'm ranking these gas stations based on my overall experiences at them, and that has to do with the ease of me getting gas there, the service I have experienced, the cleanliness of them, and also the price. I have to take that into consideration. And for some of them, they do also sell food and things, so what other accommodations they have. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Our first one on the tier list here is 7-Eleven. We're going to start off pretty strong here. I think 7-Eleven is an S tier gas station now. They usually have a very, very good selection of stuff inside of them. I've never had trouble at a 7-Eleven gas station. Now, I will be honest, I do not go to one regularly, but in my memory, I have never been to a bad 7-Eleven. Next, we have Circle K. Circle K is, I think, B tier. I think it's a little bit above average. It's usually a little bit nicer than just a run-of-the-mill crappy gas station. I think it's a little bit nicer than that, but nothing to me really screams S tier or A tier. I think it's just a B tier gas station. It is what it is. I've not been to a Gulf, so I cannot properly rank that. Next, we have a Phillips 66. I've actually had some pretty good experiences at Phillips 66. However, I'm going to go ahead and put it in B tier because while I have had some good experiences, I've also encountered some that are pretty run down. They're sometimes in pretty rural areas. Which, I mean, if you don't have any competition, I guess you don't have to be the nicest place in the world. But yeah, that's going to drop it down a little bit for me. Maverick, I'm putting in haven't been to. 76, I'm putting in C tier because it's so freaking expensive sometimes. I don't understand why 76 is so expensive sometimes. I know it's more of a premium gas station, similar to Shell. We'll get to that. But it doesn't do anything for me that I feel like really makes me want to go there, even though it's more expensive on one hand and then it doesn't add anything to my experience. They're not like overly nice, is I guess what I'm trying to say. So C tier there. It might drop down. I might have to move some of these. Arco is also going to be C tier. I go to a lot of Arcos because they are usually cheap, but randomly some of them will not be cheap. And they're usually not as nice as some of these other ones. And also, at least in the state of California, they charge a debit card fee when you go there. And to my knowledge, they're the only one of these big chains that does charge a debit card fee, which is obnoxious. So that's going to go in C tier for me. I have not been to this one. I don't even know what that says. Chevron is going to go in C tier for me. Usually pretty nice, but also pretty expensive. And the fact that I can't tell the difference between Arco, Chevron, and Mobile sometimes probably tells me that none of them are really head over heels better than the others. And maybe that's just my poor experience, but it is what it is. Costco gas stations, I'm putting in A tier. They usually have fantastic prices. However, they don't have anywhere for you to go in to pay. Not that you really need to, but it's also a very, very long line usually in most places, especially when it's busy. So I'm going to put Costco gas stations here in A tier. Though, I guess it is very, very easy to get in now. But having to wait 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes sometimes, yeah, I'm going to leave that in A tier. Exxon's a B tier gas station for me. Similar to Circle K. Not much really to add or go through with that one. It's just a B tier gas station. I haven't been to this one. Love's is S tier for me. Very nice. If I'm on a vacation, Love's is always a good option. Usually pretty big. Usually has a lot of amenities. Safeway gas, and we don't have it on here, but also like Food for Less gas. I don't think they're owned by the same company. They might be. But I'm kind of thinking about all these grocery store-based gas I'm going to go ahead and put them in B tier. Nothing really crazy about them one way or another. Mobile C tier. Arco, Chevron, and Mobile, I don't know. Just the whole red and blue, I don't know what it is. Just they're average. They're just average. Usually some of these end up being more expensive than they should be. And I mentioned with Arco the whole card thing. Shell, I'm putting in F tier. Shell gas stations are incredibly nice. However, for whatever reason, here in California, they're like $1 cheaper than anything else. Even more than 76. I don't understand. It's not that nice to get that much better. Maybe I just put crappy gas in my car and like it, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm dumb for that. Have not been to Marathon Oil. Sinclair I have been to a couple times. I'm going to put it as average. I don't think I've been to it enough to say it's anything else than that. Not been to Speedway. And Texaco, I think I would put Texaco in D. So if I had kept my D tier, I would have put Texaco in D. But I think I'm going to have to put it in F tier because they're just usually not that nice. They're usually decently cheap, but it's usually a gas station I want to get out of as quick as possible. So I'm going to have to leave it there. Now, looking over my list, let's see. I haven't been to these. Would I rather go to a Circle K than any of these? Probably. I feel like I'd rather go... No, I think that's fine. My S tier, 7-Eleven and Loves. Costco, my A. All right, I think that's pretty good. Just had to double check kind of in my brain some of these. Let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree. What's your experience with gas stations? And is there any big ones that this list left out? If you want to see another tier list, probably not about gas stations. It'll be out tomorrow at noon Pacific. With that, this has been the guy that makes random tier lists, signing off.